Invited to attend the event marking the 80th anniversary of the victory in the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War, he said the grand ceremony left him deeply moved and gave him a strong sense of security.
I was jubilant to see what our friends were able to deliver, and I feel, to tell you the truth, as a citizen of the world, safer and more secure after I saw that event yesterday at Tiananmen Square.
He noted that President Xi Jinping's global governance initiative will breathe new life into the international order.
That's why we expected these messages, which are very important in this particular moment when we have instability, escalation of different type of regional wars.
He stressed that in today's world, maintaining a correct understanding of World War II and safeguarding the post-war international order remain crucial.
We'll conserve and we'll keep the truth alive, and no one will be able to change it.
Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić spoke exclusively with Leaders Talk. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to Leaders Talk, where we meet leaders, thinkers, and trailblazers. I'm So Yun. Our guest today is Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić, invited to attend the 80th anniversary of the victory in the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War. What emotions has he experienced? How does he view President Xi's global governance initiative? And what are his expectations for the ironclad friendship that continues to guide the China-Serbia cooperation? Let's find all these answers from our conversation with him. President Vučić, thank you so much for joining us on Leaders Talk. And let's start with something exciting. You attended the commemorations of the 80th anniversary of victory in Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War. And you posted on social media not long after this event, expressing your gratitude to President Xi and Chinese friends for their sincere friendship towards Serbia. So witnessing this historic event firsthand on site, what emotions did you experience?
Today, when I was meeting President Xi, for the first time we were discussing scrutinizing it a bit longer, some issues from the past, which is important from time to time to be done. And I learned a lot from him about Chinese history. How did it start from 1931, and it lasted for 14 years, and the real hell which Chinese people passed through, and the heroic struggle they took in order to free their country. And I believe that both nations are great nations. And at the same time, I expected a lot from that parade.
What did you expect?
I expected a lot, and we got more than that. And people were amazed with the event. I spoke to Robert Fico, spoke to President Aliyev, spoke to President Mirziyoyev. And
what were their feedbacks like?
Robert, Prime Minister of Slovakia, said to me, "You, Aleksandar, understand why this was impressive." I said, I was jubilant to see what our friends were able to deliver, what our friends were able to show to the world. And I feel, to tell you the truth, as a citizen of the world, safer and more secure after I saw that event yesterday at Tiananmen Square. And all the others were actually really amazed, and we were able to see many things, new technologies, new ordnance, new armaments, something that we couldn't see anywhere else in the world.
You were there looking, you are very excited.
That was a great event. All the guests were very happy to be present, and we learned a lot. And the messages, political messages made by President Xi were great. Speaking about peace, justice, insisting on that, keeping the world tranquil and calm. This is something what we need, and I believe that every single in the world might have supported these kind of messages made by presidency.
Mr. President, you've mentioned before, and I quote here, "Our task is not to hide the truth, but to speak openly so that lies do not triumph over the truth." So, Mr. President, why, especially today, it is still of vital importance for us to uphold this correct view of the World War II and also to preserve the post-war international order, as you have just emphasized again and again?
We were facing, and we have had in the last 20 years, a lot of examples coming from all over the world of the most terrible attempts of revision of historical facts of everything that was happening in the Second World War. And with huge amounts of money, with dominance of their media outlets and everything else, they believed they could have fabricated everything that was happening during the Second World War and even a bit after the Second World War. And I saw the real determination today when I spoke to President Xi here in Beijing that he will never ever allow that. He'll always be very proud of Chinese heroic history regarding the Second World War in particular. And but this is our job. This is our holy task. This is something that we have to be stick to, and not to allow to people that felt differently, that acted differently, that actually launched aggressions against our country today to say that it was like vice versa and it was not happening in a way that really and actually happened. And that's why we need to print books. That's why we need to put it in our educational systems. That's why we need to speak to each other. We knew about more than 1 million of Serbs, Poles, Jews, of course, many others, but very few people knew about the real number, about the real numbers and the real level of suffering of Chinese people. This is our job. That's what we need to do together. Doing it, working on it, will conserve and will keep the truth alive, and no one will be able to change it.
80 years ago, the peoples of China and Serbia stood shoulder to shoulder against fascist aggression, forging a profound bond in history. Tempered in the fires of war, the ironclad friendship between China and Serbia shines with renewed vitality in the new era. Serbia was the first Central and Eastern European country to establish comprehensive economic cooperation with China, one of the earliest in Europe to sign a Belt and Road Cooperation document, and the first in Europe to build a community with a shared future with China in the new era. Under the strategic guidance of the two heads of state, China-Serbia relations have entered a new stage of robust growth.
President Xi pointed out in his speech at the event that China stay committed to the path of peaceful development and also join hands with the rest of the world to build a community with a shared future for humanity. In light of this, how do you envision advancing China-Serbia community with a shared future?
We have sort of an ironclad friendship, and I'm very happy because of that, because we belong to all three initiatives, and now we are very much supportive to the fourth initiative, which is
the Global Governance
Initiative. Made by President Xi as well. And as President Xi used to say, it's not the only purpose insisting on these initiatives to make Chinese people's lives better, but all the peoples and all the nations on that road, on that belt, to be much happier than they used to be. And we live better, at least partly, or it's a big part, but at least partly because of Chinese investments, Chinese support, and everything that we got from this kind of cooperation. And his messages were something that we expected. And in the Second World War, Serbs suffered the most among all the Yugoslav people, all the other Yugoslav nations, and an entire region of the Balkans and Southeast Europe. And we are proud of our history, but when you survive, when you pass through the most difficult periods, you always insist on these kind of messages that President Xi was insisting. After losing 35 million people, he knows how important it is to keep the world tranquil and to maintain peace all over the world. That's why we expected these messages, which are very important in this particular moment when we have instability, escalation of different type of regional wars all over the world. And this is why this type of messages are even more important than ever before.
How do you understand the global significance of this newly proposed landmark initiative, especially now with the global governance comes to a new crossroad?
There are three reasons which were mentioned why this new initiative is needed. Number one is bigger and better representation of Global South. We need it for African continent, we need it for Asian continent. Number two is erosion of everything that we have reached so far regarding international public law norms, regulations, and everything else. And number three is a lack of efficacy, lack of efficiency in building sustainable world, fighting climate changes, and everything that we promised to the mankind. These are three main reasons. Then, what President Xi wanted to accomplish or even to achieve is equality between the countries, between the nations. Then it's human-centric approach, which means it has to be delivered to the people all over the world, everything we speak about. And I believe that every single person, every single leader in the world can just stand behind this. Because what Chinese initiative is speaking about, it's not about ruining the current international order, existing international order.
Exactly.
No.
We're upholding it.
Yes, it's about renewing it. It's about reviving it, rejuvenating it. Because like I said before, I believe that everybody forgot to understand how important it was after the Second World War. And because they forgot the rules, they forgot the norms, they forgot the regulations, we came to this situation of destabilization and escalation all over the world.
You mentioned that you met with President Xi earlier today before our interview. If you don't mind, Mr. President, can you share a little bit about some of the highlights regarding this meeting?
I didn't sleep an entire night. I was preparing myself for the meeting.
You didn't sleep because of preparation or because of excitement or nervousness?
It's excitement. It's an excitement because it's a big responsibility. I'm meeting the President of China, my dear friend, and I tried to learn by heart everything I wanted to tell him, not to forget something important. Yes.
To memorize everything because it's very valuable.
Because if I start reading, then I'm wasting time and I won't be able to deliver on everything I wanted to. And I couldn't sleep. I was preparing myself. And I was, nervous, waiting just for the meeting with President Xi. Then we entered the room. I saw my friend. And he was like he knew what I was preparing. He was speaking up before I even said anything about everything that I wanted to discuss it. And it was much easier for me to tell you the truth. It was very friendly, and I got his invitation for the state visit. That was the biggest honor I could have gotten from someone. Was really jubilant when I heard that and wanted to jump from the level of joy that I was overwhelmed with, but I was like, acting a statesman. Anyway, it was really good.
Yeah, it was a meaningful conversation. And you have actually developed a personal relationship with President Xi over the years, and you've called him a true friend.
Not only that. I had an opportunity to speak to him several times
Yes.
personally. Not only about politics and not only about state-to-state relationship. He is a very humble man. He's a man from the people, from the folks. He's very down-to-the-earth man. He doesn't care about expensive things. He cares about friendship and he cares about China and Chinese people. What I like when I'm speaking about him is so decent, so respectful to the others, and so humble. I don't know whether it's a compliment here or it's not, but it would be the biggest one in my country. He is like an ordinary neighbor, like an ordinary man. You see a great man just coming from the neighborhood, acting and doing like all the other people do. And very humble, down-to-the-earth man, a man that deserves to lead China. That's what I think about him.
Mr. President, when it comes to the special bond, the special relation of our two nations, steel or ironclad is always the term that comes to mind. When it comes to cooperation, you once said that the sky is the limit. So where does your optimism and this faith in the strong tie with China stem from? What are some of the areas that you see as having the greatest potential in the near future for growth?
So in the future, we see a lot of opportunities in cooperating on the most important issues like artificial intelligence, new technologies, and I asked for transfer of some technologies today. It was a big economic problem for us. That steel mill in Smederevo, we were losing tens of millions on a monthly basis. We were in an economic crisis when we started begging President Xi to help us on that. He sent company Habis from the province Hebei to Smederevo, and they took control of that steel mill. Still, they keep 5,000 people employed. They give them good salaries, good wages. They're the second biggest exporter from Serbia. They helped us in a crucial moment, and they boosted actually our economy, and we had bigger growth rate than many regional countries and that most of the European Union countries. As you can see, China was with us. It means you can build ironclad friendship in the difficult times. Friend in need is a friend indeed. That was my duty, to be always with China. If someone says something about Taiwan, that's Chinese territory, that's Chinese land, they have the right to do whatever they want. I have one principle, which is one China, which I respect. You know, I'm like, I don't have any kind of dilemmas on that, and that's it.
President Vučić, it looks like business and economic cooperation between the two countries is high on your agenda. Yes. And I heard that you will meet with at least 12 Chinese companies during your already very demanding schedule. Some already operating in your country, some, have the interest to explore more opportunities.
They added 13th as well.
And there will be 4 after this interview back to back. So I'm really curious to know, what are some of the key factors that you believe make your country an ideal destination for Chinese investments?
First of all, it's something that should not be underestimated, which is our love for Chinese people. Number 2, we are able to subsidize an important investments. Number 3, the top leadership of the country really takes care of the biggest and the most important investments that are coming from China. Number 4, I believe that we successfully created good business environment. I think that the presence of many Chinese companies is like creating new cells for new Chinese companies. They can cooperate by themselves, within themselves, and also selling everything to European markets from Serbia and to some other markets as well. And at the end, I believe that we have a very skilled labor force, very good, talented young people, which is very important. I think these are good things that we can offer to Chinese investors. If there is anything else that we should change, I'm always ready to hear it, ready to learn it from Chinese friends and to change it.
Let's talk a little bit about what is going on in Europe, because especially after the crisis in Ukraine broke out, this challenge has sparked a heated discussion in the region about building a more balanced, effective, and sustainable European security architecture. What are your thoughts on that?
I cannot and I won't criticize Europeans, but I'm not sure that they have a clear strategy on this. I can speak on behalf of my country. Mm-hmm. We are the only country that is militarily neutral in the region of Southeast Europe and Western Balkans. Now it's very complicated, and we would like to see the peace or ceasefire as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. What we need, not sanctions, not wars. But I'm not sure how this will end up, because everybody is nervous in Europe. Everybody's just arming up its own.
Sanctions shouldn't be the answer. I mean, that's why you didn't join.
Of course, because we were sanctioned during 1990s, you know. We experienced that, and that's why we know that it has never been a part of a solution. Mm-hmm. And that's why we needed this type of global governance initiative and some other initiatives similar to that.
President Vučić, one of the strategic goals of Serbia is achieving EU membership. And now it has been about 13 years being a candidate country.
We have less expectations, to tell you the truth.
But what is your latest evaluation? Because at the first time, the timetable was set for 2025, and then they were pushed for 2026, and some even say it's not going to happen soon, it's going to be after 2028. What is your latest evaluation?
We are doing our job, but I'm not sure that it will happen till 2030 or even after that. We'll see. We'll do our best to do necessary reforms, but we'll keep our independence. We are not obedient to the other powers. We are very proud and dignified people, and we don't listen to the orders.
Mr. President, you are reportedly good at chess, having been a junior chess champion in the 1980s. According to my very limited knowledge of chess, this is more like a combination of art, of knowledge, techniques, risks, etc. Because sometimes you need to calculate risk. In some cases, you need forward thinking. But my question is really about your takeaway from playing chess for all those years. How does it help you in navigating the complexities that we're facing in geopolitical landscape, diplomatic as well as political global challenges?
It's not easy even for the biggest and for the strongest economically, politically, militarily countries to navigate in today's world. You can imagine how difficult it is for Serbia. I was a kid when I was playing a good chess. Yes. Now I'm getting old and not that capable, but still like to play chess. When you play chess, you need to analyze, you need to scrutinize the situation, the spot of the pieces on a table, to analyze the position of your adversary, to analyze his moves, his intentions, and then to prepare your defensive plan, then to prepare your midterm and long-term offensive plan in order to win. That's like in politics, right. Internal. And in external politics, you don't have to win, because the win is different. When winning, it means you create friendship. And that's the real win in international relationships.
Finally, back to bilateral relation. Cultural and people-to-people exchanges remain the highlight of our bilateral cooperation. I don't know whether you're aware of this, that many Chinese people of different generations, they know about the former Yugoslav movie, The Bridge, and also the song Bella Ciao. Farewell, My Friend is also very popular even today. Recently, China Media Group, together with Politica, which is the largest newspaper of your country, launched a column called View of China. And also this stamp is also, one of the...
Politica is the most serious papers in my country,
yes.
No doubt.
And also this one is from the successful state visit from President Xi. It's a stamp. I think you know it before. So how do you see the cooperation on that front help to enhance the mutual understanding of our two people?
It is very important. I see now in Serbia movies about China. I see your tourist guide special series on different TVs. I learned a lot about your food. I learned a lot about your provinces, just watching Serbian TV channels. I was like strolling for 20 meters, not more than that, and was meeting ordinary Chinese people. And they would say, Vučići, Vučići,
Yes, they recognize you, right?
Yeah, I'm like 2 meters.
But they recognize you, and also because you're very popular among Chinese netizens, they even give you a nickname called 577 because the pronunciation of your name,
Vučići.
Vučići,
yes,
right? Actually, it's the same with the numeral pronunciation of Chinese. Are you aware of that? And what would you like to say to those Chinese netizens?
I am aware of that. I love Chinese people. It's easy to remember this guy. He's tall, he's fat. When you see someone like that.
He loves China.
And I love China. Yeah. As you can see, I'm not hiding it. The country that I dedicated and devoted my life is Serbia. I love Serbia more than anything else in the world. But if you ask me whether I like China, I can tell you I love China.
What do you love the most about China?
It's people. It's people. I like political approach and I love people. My message to them is, please visit Serbia. You cannot find a single man that does not like or love Chinese people. Come to Serbia, that's your second home, and I'll do my best to bring more Serbs to China, to see the popularity of a small country here, and to see how diligent, how good people are Chinese people. And I believe that these people-to-people ties are of an utmost importance. I admire your people, their persistence, their diligence, and hopefully we'll be able to create even stronger and better ties in the future.
President Vučić, it was a great pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Pleasure was all mine.
During the interview, President Vučić emphasized the importance of preserving the correct view of the World War II and reaffirmed the ironclad China-Serbia friendship, which he believes will keep moving forward. With that, we're going to wrap up this edition of Leaders Talk. I'm Zoe reporting from Beijing. Thank you for watching and see you next time.